this is Socially Triggered, and this video is going to be about the story of Babel and diversity as a strength. One of the things that we've been pitched, and it's really been pitched to us, is that diversity is a strength and it really helps communities and blah, blah, blah. And it really has caused a bit of an issue. I see it especially in my area. Ignore the sounds of construction. There's like craziness going on in my area. And it's partly because of all this immigration that we're getting in Canada. We get, this area that I moved into is actually, it used to be like 99% white, Italian, kind of European mix. Now it's probably about 50%. Within a 3-year period, it's about 50% non-white, non-European background. It's really shifted. And in the process of that shift, we have kind of weird issues where people just can't communicate with each other because a lot of the people that moved in just don't speak English. So it's a really diverse neighborhood. Like if you want to see diversity, move to my area. It's just really diverse. It's people from 150 different groups, and it's only a small community, but it's very, very diverse. And as a result, there's all these like different groups that just can't communicate with each other. And that reminds me of the story and the sort of the information that you get from the story of the Tower of Babel. Now, the whole idea of the story of the Tower of Babel, I'm not religious, but there's a lot of good things you can learn from the Bible. There are a lot of bad things in the Bible too, but there are some really good stories, and I'm one of those kind of believers of taking useful information from books. You don't have to agree with everything, but take the useful parts out of them. And the story of the Tower of Babel it is a really great story, because it's the whole idea that mankind is building this tower to reach up to God and say, hey, we're now as good as you. We can reach right up to where you live in the heavens. And they're building this tower, and they're all working together, and they're all of a similar background, and they're all working together to get to heaven. And they're building this awesome tower. But what happens is God is like, well, look at these upstarts, these human upstarts. Why are they trying to be at the same level as me? And that's really not good in terms of what God wants. So he says no more. And he basically zaps them and makes them so that they all speak different languages. And they are unable to work together because they can't communicate with each other anymore. And the tower collapses. And it's sort of a sign of what happens to a society when it becomes fractured. You can build a really strong society, reach to the heavens and all that kind of stuff, but once you become fractured, you can't achieve those same things. Diversity is not a strength. It's actually a weakness, and it can really fracture a society and cause it to collapse. And that's the real moral that we should get from the story of the Tower of Babel. But it's a story that has real historical reference to now. It makes sense to today's situation, what we're experiencing in Canada and the United States and Europe, where we're getting a mass influx of people from different backgrounds with no sense that they need to actually integrate into society. Now, it wouldn't be too bad if they integrated into the society, they spoke the language, they had the culture, and there would be no problem. But because there's no cohesion, the whole thing falls apart. And that's what we're experiencing. So this is a quick video about the story of the Tower of Babel and why it's a really good story, a parable about why diversity is not a strength. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please check out my other videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.